Peace. This is a meat and potato sorcery production starring myself, the Water Alchemist, and today's topic for the occult family is this is the best time to be an occultist. Now, why do I say that? The biggest time or the best time to be an occultist is because you have so many resources and you have the internet, but you have to be careful how you navigate through the internet. When I really started on this path, the internet was in its infancy stage. And like I said, I began with the Necronomicon, but even before that, I was a student of the Orisha. So I used to procure many books, and I can name them just off the top of my head. The Trickster of West Africa by Robert Pelton, The Yoruba World of Good and Evil by Conrad Maj, and I also had Way of the Orisha by Philip Neymar. So I was heavy into the Yoruba pantheon. And there was a bookstore in Brooklyn, New York. For those in New York who were around then, you may have heard this, the Yoruba Book Mine Center, which was in Brooklyn. So the book that I started collecting was the complete works of Orun Mila, he was the Yoruba Sorcerer Supreme. And this is talking about when you had to either get the train, or the bus. So really, you don't have that much of an excuse. And then, even when there was a store called Borders, and then his competition was Barnes and Noble, the Love and Light people really hijacked it. So this was, you may get the Necronomicon, but there was no Satanic Bible with Anton LaVey. It had been in print since '69, but they weren't caring. They would have the Necronomicon because people believed it to be a work of fiction. And you would get like a couple of so-called witchcraft books, but it was nothing that was really cutting edge. It wasn't that. Now you have a whole lot of things going on. You have the complete book of demonology by X. Conley. You have Michael W. Ford with his works out, and the Gallery of Magic. So you have these books out. The only caveat that I will offer is this: too much of a good thing is just as bad as too little. So this begs the question of where you start. Okay, where you start is this. You start with working every day to deprogram yourself from Christianity. And people think it's easy. It's not easy because we're in the self-sabotage. Many people dabble, then they get uncomfortable because they feel like, if I do this, am I going to go to the lower depths, or is there going to be some karmic backlash? So it's the self-sabotage because you're fighting because you don't want to change. You're afraid of change because what will you become in the process? Well, you will become who you are meant to be. That's what you will become. No one's always going to give you an easy answer, but you will get an answer nonetheless. So it's hard to get to work for a lot of people because a lot of people say, well, where do I start? What do I do? Start with this first. Start with deprogramming yourself every single day. Now, as the Ancient One said in Doctor Strange, she posed this to Stephen Strange. How did you become a surgeon? He said, through study and practice. Okay, then. That's how you become a dynamic occultist. Where would I start when it comes to books? The Complete Book of Witchcraft, Raymond Buckland, 1. 2, Basic Sigil Magic by Philip Cooper. The same Philip Cooper who is the author of The Magician, which is very hard text to get a hold of. The third, many people aren't familiar with this book, but it is good for beginners, and even some advanced sorcerers or witches can get something out of it. Advanced Magic for Beginners by Alan Chapman. So those are 3 books that, if you're just really starting out in the quote-unquote game, those are 3 books that you want to get. And along with deprogramming and shadow work, when you do work with certain spirits, you can use sea salt, and it doesn't make no difference if white or Himalayan pink salt when you're having an experience for the first time with a spirit. You can do that, and then you call in the Archangel Michael for your protection who will act as a quote unquote bodyguard or sentinel for you. So those are your starts for you. Also, when you're doing this, it is very important as a neophyte when you're starting out, do not discuss magical practices with anyone. Okay? Secondly, do not go around them for a minute. And I'm saying this because they will, if it's more of them than you, they're going to have this effect on you that will make you unsure. You're already entering this not sure of yourself, let alone of abilities that you may have innately in you, but you're fine tuning them and bringing them out. So don't go around them right now. I'm not saying totally reject them and become an introvert. No, I'm saying you have to pace yourself. This is what you have to do when starting out. So there's plenty of resources, but those books, then you can use that. And then also to protect your home or apartment, acquire hoodoo red brick dust until you learn how to create your own. So there's plenty of ways. Like I said, Amazon really wasn't out there. So you either go to Amazon or Etsy or a Botanica in your city and let the people be honest with them what you want, what you need, and get the things that you need. That's how you start. And lastly, don't make excuses. Procrastination comes from being all over the place at one time. Center yourself and live in the now. Don't worry about your past. Don't worry about the future. Worry about what you're going to do in the now. If you can live in the present, then you'll be fine. And learn to separate what happens in your life as opposed to life situations. Because everyone has life situations, but you control your life. And that is how you get started for those interested in magic. So with that, that is your meat and potato sorcery for the day. I am the Water Alchemist. Be water, my friends. Peace.